Between the 16th century and the late 19th century, imperialism took the globe by storm. Many powerful countries seek to expand their territory via exploration, conquests, and military force. However, these imperialist countries gained power and money through unethical means that destroyed the cultures, customs, and way of life of the indigenous people. During the 16th century, Spain took control of the Philippines, and it remained an imperialist power to Spain for almost 4 centuries. Later, the Philippines was bought by America and was subjected to further imperialist rule for over a decade. During this time, despite being suppressed, Filipinos still expressed their outrage with imperialism and led many revolts that eventually led to their freedom. I, Professor Currie, along with Professor Bereznitski and Professor Mirne, will explore the causes and effects of imperialism on the Philippines over the years.
In 1521, the Spanish explorer Ferdinand Magellan arrived at an inhabited South Asian island. Looking to expand his country's territory, he claimed the land for Spain. The island proved to be valuable, as it granted them access to new resources, the spice trade, and more. They named the archipelago the Philippines after King Philip II. The Spanish also Hispanicized and Christianized the natives on the island. Prior to the Spaniards' arrival, the Philippines was a peaceful and self-sufficient region. The Philippines is a collection of over 7,000 islands, 2,000 of which are inhabited. The vastness of the area made it impossible for the Spanish to oversee the entire region. There were many groups of people that were left unaffected. However, the Spanish still left their mark on hundreds and thousands of people.
The Spanish colonists did many things to wage anger on the Filipino people. They employed encomienda, a system designed to enslave native Filipinos for the benefit of the conquerors. They also introduced private land ownership, a concept foreign to the Philippines prior to Spanish arrival. Overall, the Spaniards used connections, money, and the threat of their military power to overpower and usurp existing Filipino systems. All of these combined led to increased anger in the Filipino people. In the late 1800s, Filipinos were exposed to the ideas of the European Enlightenment and started to question the rule of Spain over them. Many groups of nationalists who were in favor of independence led revolts. A group named Katipunan, led by Andres Bonifacio, led the Battle of Manila in 1896, which unfortunately failed.
Later in April of 1898, America issued its declaration of war against Spain. The United States supported the Cubans and Filipinos who had struggled under Spanish rule through the Teller Amendment and the Declaration of War against Spain. These countries fought hard, but not long, for a peace treaty was signed on December 10, 1898. From this, America had gained power over Puerto Rico and Guam, and Cuba's independence had been established, but the Philippines was still up for grabs.
After the Spanish-American War, American politicians questioned the annexation of the Philippines. The Americans knew that the Filipinos wanted independence. However, they believed that they were not ready for it. Additionally, annexation would provide commercial opportunities in Asia, more resources, and expanded territory. In December 1898, America's decision had been made. America bought the Philippines. When America's intentions became clear to Filipino nationalist Emilio Aguinaldo, he was prepared. Aguinaldo had already formed several Filipino revolutionaries and with their help had seized control of a majority of the region. He declared the establishment of the independent Philippine Republic and was proclaimed the president. The U.S. ignored Aguinaldo's authority and began remodeling their newly claimed land. This included setting up public school systems and local governments. While these sounded like positive changes, the U.S. continued to exploit the archipelago's resources and held military bases there. Aguinaldo did not accept this.
Complete and utter chaos had broken out when the war between the Philippines and America was declared. Both sides resorted to violent methods such as torture and guerrilla warfare. Captain Elliott of the Kansas Regiment even said, "Talk about war being hell. Caloocan was supposed to contain 17,000 inhabitants. The 20th Kansas swept through it, and now Caloocan contains not one living native." This highlights that the extreme extents being taken were noticed, and the killing of 17,000 people was not taken lightly by people on either side. While lives from both sides were being taken, the Filipinos were losing an overwhelming amount of more lives, which correlated with the amount of battles won. Continually losing more people resulted in the Filipinos continually losing more wars, which left them with no chance to fight their way back into the war. When the United States had officially won the war, they had acquired the Philippines as a territory, which strategically benefited them in numerous ways.
In 1965, Ferdinand Marcos was elected as president of their country, who mismanaged the country and greatly unstabilized the Philippines. After centuries of being under control of another country, it is no wonder why the Philippines had trouble managing their independence. Though governing themselves has proved to be a challenge, there is power in independence because it allows a country to design its own destiny. In the words of late Filipino President Manuel L. Quezon, "I would rather have a country run like hell by Filipinos than a country run like heaven by Americans. Because however bad Filipino government might be, we can always change it."